Current electrifying news, episode 9. Now, South Australia had set a target of 2030 to have 100% renewables, but it's fast-tracked it to 2027, and that is as a result of the state's new wind and solar development plans. South Australia already has one of the world's leading rates of 71% of its annual power demands last year were met by renewables, and that's pretty damned excellent. Other states in Australia, you've got some catching up to do. And talking of energy in Australia, we've got some high prices and we've got a federal opposition that is crying foul. The current government's not doing enough to lower the power price. But then in the other breath, they're touting SMRs, these small modular reactors for nuclear power. It's one of the most expensive forms of power. If you look at the LCOE, which is the levelised cost of energy of an SMR to wind and solar, it's miles higher. It's just ridiculous. We know wind and solar power are the cheapest options going. So if they're concerned about the price of power, they should be looking at the cheaper options. Now, Australian mining billionaire Andrew Forrest, he's attacking the federal opposition for their deepening support of nuclear. They want to stop the rollout of renewables as small rural towns are saturated with them. Well, personally, I call that a load of bollocks. What you need is about 0.1% of the total land area in Australia to be solar panels or 1% to be wind power, and you've got enough energy generation for the whole country. That's not saturating rural towns with it, is it? Winnago make motorhomes, and there's a company called Exos which makes EVs. They make trucks and so on for companies. Now, these two companies have actually agreed on a cooperative development of an EV chassis for Winnago. Now, they've actually said, Winnago, that these will be for mobile child advocacy centres, medical and dental clinics, blood donation vehicles, mobile command vehicles and so on. They've not made any mention of EV motorhomes yet, but they did bring out one a little while ago. An upgraded Tesla Model 3 refresh performance has been spotted, and it's got a ludicrous badge on it, not a plaid badge. Now, noticeable differences from the long range version are performance seats, aero caps, red brake calipers, front splitter, rear spoiler, lowered suspension, and of course that ludicrous badge on the back. Now, whether it'll keep the ludicrous name or not remains to be seen, but from a marketing point of view, I think it would be good, and it won't confuse you with the plaid versions of the Model S and X, so it won't be taking away sales from them. Can vehicle to grid earn you much money? Well, there's a new report from the Australian Renewable Energy Agency, or ARENA, and reckons it could earn Australians up to $12,000 Australian per year. Now, they found that a fleet of EVs used to supply frequency control ancillary services, or FCAS, to the national energy market could generate a revenue of up to $12,000 per vehicle in a single year. Now, that's only where you've got these FCAS services, New South Wales mostly. You try doing that with your petrol or diesel gas guzzler. And in a similar vein of grid stabilisation, NEO has only got one swap station in Denmark, but it's begun offering frequency regulation services to the grid there. Now, this makes a lot of sense to me because these swap stations have got around 500 kilowatts of power stored there, so it can help offset the grid stabilisation, and it can also help offset some of the costs of the swap station. Now, I don't hold much weight with these sorts of things, but the SNP Loyalty Awards 2023, Tesla won overall loyalty to make, ethnic market loyalty to make, highest conquest percentage, and the alternative powertrain loyalty to make. It's similar to 2022, but I'm not sure about these studies really. Battery prices have been falling for a while, and the cost of lithium is now coming down. Now, CATL and BYD expects to halve the price of its batteries in 2024. That's half. So the writing's on the wall for fossil fuel manufacturers. EV prices are declining and the price parity gap is shrinking, and there will soon be price parity. In fact, BYD has launched a Corolla Killer, which is a $15,000 US, and I believe it's actually a plug-in hybrid. But that's going to upset quite a few of the ICE manufacturers. EVs are going to become cheaper than ICE vehicles soon, and the fact that they're so much cheaper to run, even now, the cost of ownership is less with an EV. It's just the initial upfront price. So it's a real no-brainer in my opinion. The Renault 5 was a classic in its day back in the 70s and 80s, I think. I remember it quite well. Now, Renault have announced the Renault 5 EV or E-Tech, which has got some sort of design references to its predecessor. It's going to arrive initially with a 52 kilowatt hour battery and with a 40 kilowatt hour battery to follow. The French state, the range is either 400 kilometers or 300 kilometers for each battery, and that's on the WLTP cycle. And the batteries are going to be prismatic NMC types. And prices should start from around 25,000 euros. BYD set itself some pretty high sales targets for 2024. They're hoping to sell 4.2 million vehicles. Now, 2 million of those they're hoping will be EVs. 2.2 million vehicles will be their other ones, NEVs, or plug-in hybrids. Now, whether it's going to take the sales crown from Tesla on pure battery electric vehicles is anyone's guess at the moment. They're hoping to sell 2 million battery electric vehicles. Tesla, they're hoping to sell 2.1 battery electric vehicles this year. So it's going to be interesting to watch. Well, there you have it. Current Electrifying News episode 9. Some of the things I found quite interesting. So thanks very much for watching. I hope you found it as interesting as I did researching it. Don't forget, can you do me a big favour? Yeah, click that like and subscribe button below. Costs you nothing, but it really does help the channel. And also, make any comment about any of these news items that you think may be relevant. And in the description below, there's some links to my Tesla referral, stake, other things as well. So just have a quick look in there and see what you would like to help out with. And if I remember, I'll try and get the timestamps down in the comments below and pin that. I did forget a bit for a day or two with the last one. My apologies. And I'll see you all very soon.